Hello, I'm Ive Toycat, and welcome back to episode 417 of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. And yeah, this is a bit of a different intro to an episode because we're over here in the furnace, furnace, the furnace made of furnaces, that is also in the middle of my desert. And you might say, why are you here, Toycat? And the reason I'm here is because a lot of the stuff I'm focusing on is to do with this area. I've been doing a lot of, really just smelting watching as, a couple of big auto furnaces are smelting up some glass. But as a result of that, I've been, realizing that, oh, lots of buckets come out of here that need to be filled up with lava again. And my usual go-to for filling buckets is just like, yeah, I have a big pit of, lava in the nether. But something that someone, pointed out to me recently and that I can't unthink about now is the fact that my nether has so many random, just like floating, piles of lava where like lava has fallen from the ceiling and it causes a bunch of issues. And it just made me realize, like, you know what, we could clean up the nether. Today, instead of doing like super important, like building, constructing something, what if we just cleaned up somewhere in our world that really kind of needs it? It's something I honestly would have never really considered doing, but the reason that I'm big on it today is because I did it just a little bit for the video about secret blocks that released earlier today, which you can check out if you want to. But it's about, I released a news video today, so I needed background gameplay, and for about 5 minutes I was like, I'll go to the nether and get something related to that, because it's a nether update coming to Minecraft, right? It just makes sense to me. And yeah, basically, so I went to the nether and I was like, oh yeah, there's some lava here. Where's it come from? And I just realized how much like flowing lava and dangerous hazards and like not even pretty looking dangerous hazards, like ones that make my nether look ugly. I figured there's so much of this going on, why don't I just fix that? So I'm going to my automatic bamboo farm. I'm gonna obviously get myself some, scaffolding made, because it's very easy to do that. Just grab yourself some bamboo and some string, and wow, look how the rest of it just happens like that. I think it's like 6 string for 60 bamboo. And yeah, we're gonna make ourselves a bunch of scaffolding, because it's never been easier to clean up the nether, which is why I kind of feel bad that I haven't done it yet. Okay, we made a lot more than 1 stack, but still, close enough. Just like that, we now have a full stack and a bit of scaffolding. We have 24 buckets. We can obviously make way more if we need to. There's a lot of iron lying around. But let's see if we can clean up our nether for good. It's something I feel we need to do, and maybe you agree or you don't. While we do it, though, I do want to talk about a few things. I mean, what I've been up to in the past week, the tentpole topic of the update adventures. Because it's not only me playing through the updates of Minecraft, but it's me giving you an update as to what I'm doing in survival, and I guess indeed in life. And then also, on top of that, I want to talk about, I think somewhat recently, I think it was like, I think I mentioned like in a few live streams, or maybe it was even Let's Play episodes, I mentioned something to do with like women twice in a row. People were like, oh, Toycat, all you ever talk about is girls. And because of that, I was on my flight home and I was like, you know what the best way to respond to criticism is? To do the thing that people criticize you for, like way more. That is the only logical solution. So I've got myself a list of ways you should talk to women. I think you're going to enjoy it, especially if you're, actually I think you'll enjoy it regardless of your gender and or intended gender of acquiescence. By the way, is it offensive for me to say gender of acquiescence? Is that implying you can acquire a woman? Is that not okay? If it's not okay, let me know of a comment down below. I love reading, things like that all the time. But no, so yeah, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna got rid of the gas. We can start to deal with those things up there, because those pieces of lava, they're kind of actually necessary, like they actually mean something to me, but the rest of the ones like that in the nether, they can go just fine. So we're gonna fly up there, we're gonna try and find somewhere to hook onto, or I guess we'll just have to scaffolding up there, and we're gonna get rid of them using our bucket. It's gonna be a wonderful little thing. So yeah, hello, my BX Toycat. What have I been up to recently? You ask, or I ask on your behalf. Honestly, this last week, it's really, really weird, and maybe it's even just lame to you or whatever, but honestly, the biggest thing that I have been up to this last week is just being sick, like just being non-functional. That is, it sounds stupid to me, but one of the things we never appreciate enough is like being healthy and normal. Yeah, being normal, it's, oh, okay, there goes my scaffolding. But being normal is something that I guess is not appreciated enough when it happens. You only notice when you deviate from the norm. You never wake up and you're like, oh yeah, this is a happy normal day. And I used to think that's stupid. Like, of course you wouldn't do that. But having now been like basically dysfunctional, non-functional, whatever you want to call it, for the better part of the week, it's just like, oh yeah, I see why we should appreciate this now. Like, there's just been so many things that have been objectively just like harder and worse. Like, I tried to live my normal life. I tried to still record and do this and that. But like, at the end of last week's Let's Play, I was like, okay, if I talk a little bit longer, I think I might die. I think that's actually going to happen. I didn't know you could die of talking, but my body is telling me right now that you very much can. And, I know, just small things like that made me realize, like, oh yeah, there is you know, that there is a thing that can happen to you where you just can't do the things you want to do. You know, the biggest autonomy you have as a human is that you decide what you do for the most part. You wake up and you decide what goes on. I woke up today and immediately, like, I was like, you know, I don't need breakfast, I don't need this. I want to talk to the internet people about, you know, my adventure I went on in the shower. And yeah, I like that. That's the autonomy that I have as a man. I'm gonna fly around. I'm gonna take out these guards. They're not worth the pain they otherwise bring. But yeah, like, obviously that's one of my powers, right? I have the autonomy to decide what to do. But when you're sick, you lose your control over your own body, which is, you know, it's terrifying. It sounds like a science fiction premise, but I guess all science fiction premises, like, have a truth in our fears of reality. And you know what? My biggest fear in reality is losing the control to decide who or what I am. No, why am I doing that? Okay. I'm on fire, but it's fine. You know, this video is straight fire, and that's why you should like it. Make sure to do that right now, because likes are so important on YouTube these days. It's totally not an essentially dead feature that people only ask for because it just feels right at this point. It feels weird not to ask for likes for some people. And yeah, now you know why people ask for likes, eh? Wow, look at that. Toy Cat gives you a little bit of insight into the inside baseball of YouTube here. But no, so to talk a little bit about my week, it's just been like, I was sick, but I also went on flights for the first time in forever. And here's the funny thing, like, I feel like, you know, I've said this before, but like the best way to convince my brain of something is usually to give it the opposite, to expect the opposite from it. So I flew to New York this weekend, or last weekend. Yeah, last weekend I guess it would have been. So I flew to New York last weekend, and like, what you might expect my brain would have took from that is like, oh god, flying is so bad while you're sick. Because, you know, I really love flying normally, but like, recently it's been like taking a bit more of a toll on me than it probably should have. I think that's something to do with me more than the flying. But basically, you know, I was thinking like, oh, this is going to be a whole terrible thing. But here's the deal, right? Even though it was going to be a somewhat, it was going to be an okay flight regardless, the fact that it was okay while I was feeling awful, that stuck to me as like, oh yeah, I guess I really do love this plan. So I love it so much that even like, you know, like as I'm feeling objectively awful and I would feel bad if I was laid up in bed, even sitting here in the same airplane seat, it's pretty good. If you're curious, I flew a Virgin Atlantic for the first time. It was a pretty fun little time. They, you know, can I talk about this, because this is like my one little thing that I'd hate share this with anyone in like person. It makes me sound like a very, like, you know, that sort of person. You know what I mean when I say it. But one of the things that I really enjoyed is that because, for reasons that are kind of complex to explain, even though I'd never flown with them before, I am in their, like, frequent flyer program, I guess you could call it. And so, like, as soon as I get on, they're like, welcome back. And it's like, I mean, a little bit misleading, but that's cool. And then they're like, you know, your name here. And they're like, would you like anything today? Here's some champagne. And I'm sick. I really should not be drinking champagne, right? I think that goes without saying. But, like, there's just something about being handed some champagne where you're like, ooh, wow, what have I done to deserve this? Like, this is, you know, just me sitting right there, like, you know, in, like, the normalist seats, like, way back of the plane. And someone's just like, oh, yeah, wow, what a wonderful thing. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of cool. So, yeah, I had a really great time. I flew while sick for the first time in forever. And it didn't ruin my life, which kind of, like, as a result of that, I was like, wow. Like, I guess I really do enjoy this flying stuff. Like, I've been kind of terrified because, in a couple of weeks, I'm heading to Australia for the first time, and Australia is really far away. It's 24 hours away. I'm kind of terrified by the notion of that. But, you know, after this, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be like, you know, imagine if you can enjoy that while sick and while it's, you know, while there's that kind of flaw. Going on a 24-hour flight to the other side of the world sounds like a wonderful time. By comparison. Oh god! Oh god! Okay, I'm alive. What even happened there? What even happened there? I still might die. But we're gonna just get in a corner so we don't lose any stuff. Okay. Yeah. So that was terrifying. That wasn't ideal. This is why, if you're gonna do this yourself, by the way, I would recommend maybe putting your stuff in a chest first, because when you're dealing with lava, sometimes bad things happen. Who would have thought it? Okay, I'm very nervous about what I'm about to do right here, so I'm gonna just let you know. Okay, we're good, we're fine. But, yeah, fixing up the nether, it's such a simple thing to do, but I think it's one of those, like, it will actually have a nice impact on being able to look at the generation and enjoy it. Because what I used to do before, what I've been doing up till now to get lava, if you don't know, if you haven't seen it in a video or in the background of a project that's being worked on, because I you know, there's so many projects that I work on, like, you know, it takes like months to get them like actually visible. Like the map project is going out soon, for instance. Like there's so many things that take a lot of time because, you know, editing is a big process, and in a lot of cases, just the sheer number of like dozens of hours required to finish it is a big process. But if you don't know, right now what I actually do is over here. I think it's just under here. Yeah, you can... oh, it's on the other side of this. But what I actually have is... Oh... real quick. Oh god, okay. I hate when fireworks just don't work like that. What I actually have is I have a little secret passageway. Or maybe it's not secret, you can be the judge of that. And I'm trying to slowly just drain out the nether that way. This seems like a really stupid way to do a project, right? It seems really, really silly to do it this way. But I just want to know, like, how big of a dent on this lava pool can we make by actually filling things, you know, filling our buckets that way? And it's something I'm working on, as you can see. There's a lot of lava down there for me still to pick up. And then what we do is we grab ourselves a shulker box and we store all the stuff in there. It's our way of bringing lava to the overworld while also still doing something I'm kind of curious about. If I'm being realistic, yeah, I will never make it through that lava sea. I want to know how far in I can make it though, you know? Like, it's one of these impossible projects where even when you don't finish it, it's still kind of satisfying. Which sounds like the opposite of a thing that should be true. But you know what? It's, in the modern world, the opposite of things that should be true is how they work. That's how you convince me to do things. And what's that? You don't want to hear about my exciting list of ways to pick up girls that are unorthodox, perhaps. You don't want to hear that list. You're not thinking to yourself, Toycat, why do you talk such cringe? Why do you do this to us? You know, like I thought there were, you know, this and that watching the channel. Yeah, this is for you. This is for you, person who tells me what I can and cannot do. Didn't you hear? This is Minecraft we're playing, the game where you specifically can't do that. Anyway, leaving that aside though, hope you're having a wonderful Monday. By the way, I think a really cool idea that you totally could do is if you just dig like one block below that, and then we use some netherrack. You could also, if you wanted to make this a little bit like easier for yourself, if you want to do something similar, all you have to do is something like that, and now we've gotten rid of most of the lava, but there's still like a big pillar of it, which lights up the nether, which I don't think is actually useful in any way. But I mean, if you want to keep the lava pillars there, but also don't want the lava mess, it's actually really easy to fix it in that way. Although, I'm not quite sure if I do want to fix it. I think I'll leave that one lava pillar there, but I think the rest of these, let's just get rid of them. Because I honestly do think it will be improved. It's funny, because this was just one comment that was just like, so, you know, it's been 7 years or whatever it's been. It's actually, oh, the 7-year anniversary of the Let's Play, coming up real soon, by the way. But, it's been 7 years, and, you know, you've still got those lava things there you haven't dealt with. And honestly, there are loads of tiny tasks in Minecraft that to me are kind of like housekeeping, you know? They're not necessarily the most objectively fun things you can do in the world. But, yeah, so, like, there's a lot of, like, objectively not very fun housekeeping tasks that I'm like, I'll get to that, you know? That's a thing I intend to get around to. And, oh, this is very satisfying, isn't it? But, yeah, because of that fact, there's just, like, tiny things where I'm like, you know, actually, I do want to do this. Because there are so many tasks where it's like, you have to do this for your Minecraft world. Who says, right? Who says you have to do that? No one says you have to do that because it's Minecraft. This is the game where no one can tell you what you can and cannot do. Wow, what's this? Yeah, Toycat's repeating this phrase over and over again. That's because it's a good phrase. That's because it's a phrase you can live your life by. I think that if the only reason you do something is because someone else tells you not to do it, then maybe you're doing something wrong, right? Like, if the only reason you don't murder people is because, like, you were told in school once that it's bad to murder people, then I think that's a problem. I think you're a murderer just waiting to be triggered by some terrifying event, right? Like, that's, if you're in America, you know, something school shooting. It's a thing that's gonna happen to you if you think murder's only not okay because someone told you not to, because eventually that person's not gonna be around, or maybe you don't care about that person's consequences anymore, you know? That's all I'm saying. So you gotta do things for your inner value, because if you don't do things for your inner value, the world around you is going to change a lot. And you're not, if you just realize the world around you changes a lot, if you just realize, well, so look at the lava fade, it's like one of the things about Bedrock that is nice, in terms of like what always happens, is lava does always fade. Whereas for some reason, on Java and console, like, sometimes it just gets stuck, right? I don't know what it is about lava that makes it specifically get stuck, but it's very annoying, very frustrating. Also, do you see what I mean about this, like, lava problem? Look how much lava comes from 2 sources, maybe 3 sources up there, but still, it's a lot, right? It's too much, you could argue. In fact, I would argue that it's too much. So, yeah, okay, this is going to be a tricky one to pull off, but I'm going to try my best anyway. We're going to go right in between them, we're going to thread the needle, and then, I didn't thread the needle very well. We're going to thread the needle and then place some netherrack that'll look like it's always been here. No one will know the wiser. And then just like that, we scoop that up. We'll make the island look a little bit bigger so it looks more natural. And then we'll scoop some up over here. One of the things I bet is going to annoy people is that I don't fill up the holes afterwards, like, do that. Because I think it makes the ceiling look more natural. But I think you kind of want to know, there was lava there. I got rid of it. You're welcome, guys. I went through a lot of effort. When you eventually download this world, if you choose to do that, if it ever goes up for download in the marketplace, there's been a trillion issues with that. Again, it's a marketplace process, not very fun as it turns out. But yeah, when this world does eventually become available, you'll be able to be like, ooh. Oh, actually, it's off the first update to the world, because again, it's already in the hands of the people who are working with it. But you'll be like, wow, look at those holes in the ceiling. I remember that episode of the Let's Play. It's always nice, right? It's always nice to look at something and know when and why it happened. That's kind of some of the point of scars and whatnot. Some of the point of, like, I used to think, like, a lot of people might think this, like, when you've got, like, oh man, this is a lot of scaffolding going missing. But, like, you might think that, you know, something that's, like, a scar of something from your past is just objectively bad looking, right? I've heard so many people who have, let's call them body issues, or, like, you know, positivity issues, because they're like, oh man, I look terrible from this one thing that is visible here, there, or there. But I've since kind of learned that, like, you know, in the same way that, like, in games, you actually, like, I don't know which game it is that first did this, but, like, I think it was Fable or something, where they're like, oh yeah, the better you get, the more evil you get, the more scars you get, or something like that. And obviously, I don't like the implication that, like, evil equals scars. Like, you know, good people get hurt too sometimes. I mean, that's my understanding of how it works. But although I never liked it on that level, I always thought it was fascinating, the idea that, like, oh yeah, well, what happens is as you grow as a person, you do more things, and then you get scars. Because I don't know what happens on the good. Oh god, I gotta go. What just happened? Oh, it got lit on fire. Oh, scaffolding burns. Fun fact. I can see why that's a thing I should know before placing giant pillars of it next to lava. I can see why that's a key detail. Oh, here's a cool fact though. When it does light on fire, it seems to drop itself anyway. Sometimes. Okay, only that one time. Oh, it must have burned the one underneath it, and then. Okay, so let's just go a little block to the left over here, maybe. Let's just do this. And then so that we've got a backup, we'll place the netherrack there, and then we'll place on top of it. Because fun fact, now we can keep ourselves pretty foolproof from any falls. Now we remove that, and there's no source of burning. Because the funny thing is, I think it wasn't actually the lava that caused me problems. I genuinely think it was the fire from the gas fireballs. So yeah, gas fireballs, they can mess with your stuff, yo. So, I do want to talk about the thing I mentioned. I want to talk about my week, and I want to talk about some of the crazy stuff that's been happening, because, honestly, right now, I think I'm in a tricky situation in terms of, like, I think I have to make a bad decision for myself at some point soon, for the sake of knowing what it's like to make a bad decision. I'm not going to clarify anymore, because, like, my life is cryptic enough. You don't need to... You know, like, I don't want anyone to be like, well, this must mean you're doing this. The fewer clues I give you about something I'm deliberately not mentioning, the more you can come up with cool stories about, like, oh, it sounds like Toycat is going to, you know, put his hand on a stove so he can see if it really hurts. Because, you know, does putting your hand on a stove hurt? There's only one way to find out, right? And that's to put it on full blast and put your hand there. Pro tip, don't actually do that. But, no, there is a little bit of, truth to the idea that, like, there are some mistakes that everyone knows are, like, kind of a mistake on some level, right? Wait, let me reword this. I think there are some things that, everyone has a friend where when you tell them to do something, or, like, when you tell them, like, here's the solution to your crisis, and then they're like, but what if not? And I sometimes wonder, like, you know, maybe, you know, in the same way that I was just saying, like, you know, although having friends and having someone to tell you the mistakes are bad, don't make them okay. You know, don't get me wrong, that is a valuable thing that anyone should be happy with. Also, if I'm going to try and find the lava from above, I don't see what could go wrong with this idea. Oh, I actually did find it. Wow, perfect. And now we can put the netherrack back, and we can pretend this never happened. Look how easy this is. I'm actually going to fill this up just in case things go wrong here. But, yeah, I kind of am in that mindset. Like, you know, maybe, you know, maybe there are reasons you should, you know, there are reasons why certain heuristics exist, certain, like, you know, sets of, certain things that everyone agrees with are like, you know, is that the right thing to do? But then I sometimes think, like, but what if? What if it's different for you? Because every now and then, like, you know, there are rules that cover humanity that are a good idea to follow if not because they're going to be good for you, if just because of the fact that it's got like a 99% success rate. Like, don't put your hand on stoves. Some percent of people don't have nerves in their hands and don't know about it, but it's still going to be bad for you to put your hand on a stove. Some percentage of people might have a hand illness that is cured or is, like healed with extreme heat. Fun fact, this is a terrible fact, but if you ever do get you have a wound chopped off and you have nothing else on a wound chopped off, a limb chopped off, like if you lose a part of your body and like the things cut right open, this is terrible, and I wish this wasn't true. When I first read this, I was like, you're messing with me, Mr. Author. But no, if you lose like a finger or a limb or whatever, you need to burn the wound. It's the best way to keep it safe and not infected and stuff like that. Obviously, there are better options if you're in a hospital, but if you're out in the wilderness, you can't reach one of those things, and you lost the limb, and you don't want to put it back on. You assume that's a thing that's done. Burn the wound, and it cauterizes it. It removes the, it sears off the blood vessels that are exposed. I imagine it really hurts. Again, whenever I read about it, that's never really brought up. But pro tip, it's a good way to, help yourself. And that's why don't put your hand on a stove. Like, what if you need to cauterize a wound? And it's like, we didn't think about that when we were making the generalized rules. But in general, you still shouldn't put your hand on a stove, Like, just because there are cases where you should, it doesn't mean the majority of cases where you shouldn't are not validated. And I sometimes wonder, like, in that same way, maybe there are, because, while I was sick, I did a lot of things that I probably was not supposed to do. But I think, like, through that, I kind of learned, like, oh, this is what people mean when they say they're sick. For so much of my life, this sounds like, I sound terrible all the time, so it's fine. So this will make me sound like maybe not a very empathetical person. But when people say they're sick, or they say like, oh, I'm not feeling so great, when you both arrange to do something, like, let's say it's like a once in a month time opportunity, once in a year time opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity, and they're like, sorry, I'm sick. It's like, oh, really? Is that the bar? Just like, I'm not feeling 100%. But like, I think you need to feel below like 10% before you have an excuse to like drop on your social obligations. But I think for a lot of this past week, I was feeling less than 10%. I was feeling like, maybe like some percentage between like 0 and 30 or something. And as a result of that, I realized like, oh man, I've been meeting with people, but I have not been the best version of myself during this entire time. And there's something beautiful about that where it's like, ooh, now I realize that sometimes, not all the time, like if it's the first time you're going to meet someone and they mysteriously get sick and they don't mention it, that's still on them. They should have said something before so their story has credibility. However, does my leech have durability? It does, perfect. Oh, because I was mining nether quartz. That's probably the reason why. I want to believe that it's for other reasons, but it's totally not. Anyway, though, yeah, as a result of that, there's this kind of interesting thing of like, you learning through doing is a really, painful way to learn. But also, I mean, like, I think it's one of the most effective ways for a lot of people. I think some people really like learning, maybe like learning by watching IBX Toy Cat Let's Plays, and now you oh no! That's sad. I lost the lava bucket in the lava that I put in the bucket. If that's not logic, then I don't know what is, Like, oh man, don't do this to me, Ghast. I'm mourning the loss of a bucket already. Can you not do this to me? Okay, we're just gonna break these, and then we're gonna stay here. And then we're gonna fly after and we can get the Ghast. Because you added to the pain in my day, and that wasn't very nice of you. Okay, so let's put these in the shulk box now. And now you can work out what we're doing here. We go around the nether, we clean up messes, and we actually get rewarded for it, which I really love. I love not only when you do something for the sake of doing it, but I've said this before, but in Minecraft, there are some tasks that aren't necessarily directly great, so it's nice to be rewarded in some other way. Like, oh yeah, my lava forge, my furnaces, my whatever else is now gonna, okay, this is a terrible idea. I was gonna use scaffolding, but that can only go badly, right? It's for that reason, right there. Okay, I'm gonna scaffold up now, and we're gonna see if this really is such a great idea. Or maybe if it's the opposite of a great idea. Okay, this is bad. This is really bad. Okay. If I place a netherrack block there, and then we place up from the netherrack block. Oh god! Okay. This is fine. Everything is going okay. There is no problems here. Oh god. Okay, we're just gonna mine. Okay, so I mean, ignoring all the things that aren't going well, I think things are going quite well right now. I think I think that was pretty well handled. Thank you very much, internet. I think we did a very good job there. So here's a fun idea. Let's try and get this gas down here, even though it means we have to circle around some lava to get ourselves back up. Because that way we get the most value out for Firework, in my opinion. And now let's try and fix the mistake we made before. We're just going to walk in there. We're going to use netherrack the entire way, because why not, right? Like, just stack ourselves into there, stack across there, boom. Okay, so I want these scaffolds back. I think they're going to be useful. And I want to get back up to there. Oh, this is just dangerous. This is not only dangerous, it's a dangerous mess, which is the worst type of dangerous. Then we just mine our way all the way through there. Come on, where's the source? Where's the source? Then we're going to mine a little bit out, because I'm kind of terrified of my life. Oh god, it goes over there! Okay, I am making this issue a lot worse before I make it better. But if that's not part of the beauty of life, I don't know what is. Okay, what I can do in the meantime is I can place some scaffolding up. And I can scoop that up right there. Look how good at this I am. I'm definitely not making mistake after mistake that is almost killing me and losing me all of my enchanted stuff, including my mending elytra, by the way. Nothing's going wrong with any of this. Thank you very much for asking. There are so many fires around here that I'm going to spend a little bit of time putting them out. And I'm going to go kill the ghast that was responsible. Because you know what, ghasts, why do you do this to me? Oh, God. Why do you do this? Okay, let's try this. Attempt number 3. This is the successful attempt. We're going to try and get above the mess. That is the mistake we have not learned from. We can't be involved. Oh, God! Ah! Okay, I fixed my mistake at least. Okay, attempt number 4. So, now we know. Kind of dangerous up there, eh? So what we'll do instead is we'll stack ourselves up over here. And then we'll kind of bridge over this way. Like a little diagonally from it. We'll let ourselves in. Just like this. Look, okay. And now we're going to listen out for the lava. And we're going to put it next to our pickaxe. So we know that we're going to be able to mine straight in and just scoop it up as soon as we get there. Okay. Boom. I think that's the one piece of lava that somehow has made a huge cavern for itself. Oh no, there is a cavern up here. Or is this me made? I really don't know at this point. But, okay, so now we just bridge over the gaps. We find the rest. It really was just one source of lava that was in such a big cave. Such a long, big cave. That it happened to create all of those issues for me. Also, I could have just flown right in here, apparently. Huh. Well, you know, could have saved myself a lot of firework wastage, a lot of pain, a lot of fire, and also some scaffolding going away. However, on the plus side, got some more nether quartz now, so all's well that ends well. Which is not a saying I like, by the way, because let me go into a topic I want to discuss today. Because a lot of people have been mentioning that, like, oh yeah, Toy Cat, you've been... I don't even know what people mention, like, oh, you've been mentioning romance too much recently, Toy Cat. Like, what's been going on in your life? Why are you mentioning this or that so much? Like, oh, and then you put out requests for people to send you messages. Wow. You know, like, something along those lines, right? I've been receiving a lot of that recently. It's from a very small minority of people. But like I said, like, as a YouTuber, there's something about the small minority that, like, when you receive 100 good comments and 1 bad comment, there's a part of your brain that wants to, you know, to ignore the bad and go straight for, sorry, to ignore the good and go straight for the bad. And there's part of your brain that when you see 100 good comments and 1 bad comment, you say, well, I guess the guy who has a bad comment has no point whatsoever. I think there's a balance between those two opinions. I think that positive feedback, you know, generic positive feedback, if you just say nice video, that means nothing to me. That literally doesn't register with me. If you give a specific reason why you liked it, that matters too. If you say this video sucked, it means nothing to me. It means you, for some reason, you want to make me feel bad. And like, you know, fun fact, I don't care enough about your opinion if it's not substantiated. But if you say something along the lines of like, oh yeah, that was a really, you know, like, that was a really bad bit. You know, I hate how you keep talking about this, like, Cat. Why did you mention that? Something about that does stick with me. Or even, okay, here's how you get really under each of the skin. You say, that was a great video, but this thing. Or you say, that was a great video for this reason. However, here's the thing I don't like, where it's like, I still enjoy these things, but there's one thing holding back my enjoyment. So something about that is like really how you can get to a YouTuber in that way. And yeah, I received like maybe like 4 or 5 of those comments that were just like, wow, why have you been mentioning I don't know even know what it was. I think it was specifically like, why are you mentioning so many things to do with women, Toy Cat? What's going on with you? Who hurt you, Toy Cat? Something along those lines. And just so you know who hurt me, I mean society. But no, more seriously, there also it looks so much better without the fires, right? But yeah, a big part of me actually just took it on board and was like, oh yeah, I don't know why that's been coming up. I guess it's been on my mind, you know, something. There was a recent heartbreak in my life, so you know, or like, I guess recent is relative to the Eye of the Beholder, but like a couple of months ago now. And like, I guess I never really dealt with it at the time, and then it like just kind of like it piles up inside. I thought at the time like, whoa, look at this, look at me. I have matured as a person. I don't even have like you know, it's not even a thing that weighs on my mind anymore when everything's sad, etc. And then it like kind of like piled up inside, and then like kind of had to deal with it externally anyway. But my point is it was like internally, and I was like one of those things that I guess came up in the Let's Play, because the point of these Let's Plays, the point of the live streams, the point of these videos where we talk directly and play some Minecraft is we chill, we play a game we all like together, right? I think you guys like Minecraft. I've gathered that about the channel at this point, and yeah, we chill, we play a game that I think has some meaning to, at least to me, and presumably to a lot of you as well, and it's a fun time, right? And while we do that, I talk about what's up on my mind, because that is where that's what a lot of people seem to want to hear. I don't know necessarily why. Maybe it's like confirmation bias, where like maybe you'd like to hear anything, and like the things that are on the peak of my mind are the things where you're like, oh well, you know, if that's what you're talking about now, that's fine. But like a lot of people want to hear that, and the thing that was on me right there was the girl thing. However, you know, I guess I mentioned too many times about like this and that, and like problems with their like, wow, don't you think it's crazy how so many women have short hair these days, or whatever the thing may be. So instead, what I have is some advice for all of you. If you are bored by my Toy Cat tells you about his internal crises, how about I give you all a little bit of a fun little how about we go tips with Toy Cat session. So if you are a person who is nervous about speaking to women, because like this is you know, there's a big age group of people who watch these videos. On the lower end, there are some people in the early teenage years who are watching this, and first of all, I think that's crazy. I hope you actually enjoy these videos. Again, I always kind of worry about the age extremes on videos, and the extremes on anything on videos, really. I guess I worry about the extremes, is my point. But yeah, if you are young, then cool that you like these videos. Second of all, one of the things that I wish was more openly discussed is like speaking to the opposite gender, or the gender you're attracted to, in a way that implies you are attracted to them, for people who do not like the gender that is opposite to them. But you know, like speaking to people like that, it's really hard. It makes you nervous, right? And honestly, you might assume like, oh yeah, well you must be good at talking to people, Toy Cat, because you know, like this, that. No, I'm not good at talking to people. That's the whole reason I have a YouTube channel. I talk to the invisible person. You know, I speak to myself out loud, and then it's not a mental illness, because what do you know, there's an audience on YouTube. So one of the things that I think is hard is like, what do you talk to opposite gender about? And I figured specifically because when it comes to like girls, etc., like I think what I usually talk to my friends about is my interests. But when I was younger, at least where I live, no girls played video games. No girls were into the same things. I was like, so what? How do you have a conversation? How is it even physically possible? You're not. What it is all women must be terrible, and then you go down a terrible rabbit hole, or maybe you shoot up a school. Like neither of those outcomes are good. Neither of those outcomes are good. So here is my list, which I compiled on the flight while I was wildly sick, of ways to talk to girls. It's listed in here as pick up girls by. And then it's listed mundane topics that you might think are really bad conversation topics, but that I reckon you can turn into a good one. So, first of all, talk about your favorite sandwich filling. When you're talking, you know, to a girl that you like, that you think is attractive, that you think there's a chance that she might one day be attracted to you, rather than starting up a conversation about the weather, or trying to go for a bad icebreaker, or whatever else, just be like, so, what is your favorite sandwich filling? Or, you know, actually, don't ask first. Be like, yeah, actually, do ask, but then immediately go into your own answer, like, I really like tuna. I think that it's, you know, it's got a bad reputation because of the stench, but I think the flavor that comes from it is delightful. I think cheese is a must, of course, but I don't think cheese holds up a sandwich by itself. I think that if you're gonna fill a sandwich with something, you've got to have some meat in there too, you know? Like, there's got to be something like that as well. I think talking about your favorite sandwich filling is, so random, but it's also, I think on some level, it's going to be a conversation that no one you have it with has ever going to have had before with another person their own age, you know? Like, maybe their mothers asked them, like, you know, again, I don't know where you live or what the norms are, but where I live, like, you could get school dinners if you wanted to, but also you could bring your own lunch, and The school dinners were expensive, is what my mother said. So we always had a lunch, and we'd always discuss like, so what goes in there? What do you enjoy? And yeah, we had discussions about sandwich fillings then. But I never had one with someone my own age, and boy, is it a fun conversation. It's got so many great places it can go. Second of all, mention plastic straws and how there's something you believe in, not in spite of the fact that they kill turtles. Mention that you like plastic straws because the more turtles that die, the happier you feel about yourself. You've got to really double down on a stance about something. Don't be like, I do this bad thing and I don't really care about the consequences. Like, oh yeah, well, I do, something bad environment. No. You've got to be clear that you do a thing against the normal, not because you think that like, oh yeah, I kind of feel bad about that. Everyone feels bad. You don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, I feel guilty all the time. Wow, yeah, you're not the only one. That's a pretty widespread human emotion. But being the guy who's like, I have turned my guilt into a positive thing. I have turned it into a force for change. I'm going to kill as many turtles as I can because plastic straws are worth it. I think that's how you, that's definitely the sort of conversation that will get a girl on board. By the way, if you're a woman and watching this, and also you have the same situation where you're not sure how to talk to guys, one, you can use these yourself, but two, let me know in the comments and let everyone know watching right now in the comments that these are in fact very great ways to speak to someone. So next up, ask any question about a girl's dog. Even if they don't have a dog, ask them questions about it. This is a recent discovery, but every girl has a dog, or a dog in their heart somewhere, or again, every girl has a dog is my new life slogan. Let's put that on a t-shirt and let's sell it. And if all you have to do is ask any question, and you're in, right? You have found the compelling spot. Again, I could be wrong on this. This could be like a series of coincidences, but every girl has a dog. Actually, wait, I met someone recently who was like, I don't like animals, and I was like, but you think they're cute, right? Yeah, I just don't want to be anywhere near them. And I was like, huh. Oh yeah, I kind of something swipe left, and all the people who have an animal anywhere in their picture, and I was like, that's a crazy opinion because it's not the norm. But for 99.9% of people, ask about the dog. It's gonna go well for you. That's my pro tip with Toy Cat for all of you watching right now. Just ask about their dog. Just ask any single question. They don't have a dog. Ask about the dog they would like. They don't want to have a dog. Ask about their cat. They don't have any animals or would like any animals. We'll ask them about what it's like to plan to shoot up a school. At their age, because they're pretty young for that, because that's what you're going to get yourself into. So next up, let's talk about the fact that, what you got to do is you got to, because I hated when people said to me, like, oh, you got to be confident. What does confident mean? Confident in what? Like, confident in me? Confident in my ability to talk about a thing? Because I'm not confident about either of those things, if I'm being honest. But, so yeah, there was, I really hate when people just say, like, be confident. What does that even mean? But here's a great example. Just play a game of rock, paper, scissors. Just any game, rock, paper, scissors, and tell them if they win, you'll do blank nice thing for them. What does blank nice thing mean? You can make that up if you'd like. So, oh yeah, if you win, I'll give you my favorite sandwich filling. I'll give you this great tuna mayo that came right from the factory, or right from the, I guess not a factory, that's not a good thing, but like came right from the sandwich, making love heart inside all of us. I don't know, like my point is if you do something nice in exchange for someone, if they win a game of rock, paper, scissors, they'll be compelled to play it, because, I mean, who doesn't want some nice stuff? It's showing you can do something. But then also, same time, here's the pro tip. Always go paper. Because when people aren't expecting a game of rock, paper, scissors, they go rock by default. Because when you go rock, paper, scissors... wait, I'll show you. When you go... This is going to look terrible, because the green's... When you go rock, paper, scissors... You got rock in your hand the whole 3 times, and most people are lazy. Most people, hello, I'm going away by the way. But most people, they're just gonna be like, oh, I'll just leave it as rock. So you go paper, you win most of the time anyway, and you've started a conversation. Boom. Next up, ask about how in Pokemon, if you kill the other trainer, like if you murder them in cold blood, let's say you shoot up their, you shoot them with a gun. That's a thing you're gonna do. If you shoot another trainer, kill him, do his Pokemon become wild Pokemon? Ask about that, because, again, I feel like Pokemon is now so widespread that you actually do have, like, some form of a social in from it. And why not utilize the best of that social in? Why not, take full advantage of it if you want to? And, yeah, talk about the ethics of killing Pokemon. Like, oh, they're kind of like animals. And then, if you haven't mentioned the dog yet, question like, oh, yeah, Pokemon are kind of like animals. Lol, do you have a dog? Boom. Tips of Toy Cat. Next up, talk about pineapple on pizza. Whether you're pro or against it, it's a conversation starter, right? Another one I really like is again, this is my favorite one for like if you've forgotten someone's name and you don't know their name yet. You want to learn their name and you want to learn a little bit about them, but you want to do it in a funny way. Be like, ha ha ha, my driving license picture. You know, like a license that you need to drive. Okay, we're on the same page. Oh, my picture looks so bad. Ha 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 ha. What about yours? So it's a good topic because you're bringing humility in there. You're showing them, oh yeah, I don't really know what's going on right here. But at the same time, is your humility. You get to see their driving license, and you can find their address on there. You can follow them home, and then you can play outside their window of a boombox. And if that's not how you pick up a girl, then I don't know what is. So yeah, that was my very serious, definitely going to work 100% of the time list on how to pick up girls. I hope you all enjoyed that. If you're worried about how to talk to girls, I'll confirm, because 25% of people who watch these videos, I think it's a bit higher for the Let's Plays, if I'm being honest. I don't know why that is, but thank you very much to the ladies of the audience. But let me know in the comments down below if you are a female gendered person who is also has been through the situation of speaking to people at some point. But if that describes you, if you hear that, you're like, wow, that I am a female gendered person who sometimes has to speak to guys who sometimes have no idea what they're talking about, and they're talking about things I'd rather they just stopped with. If that describes you perfectly, then let me know in the comments down below. Were all those swings and hits, or were they swings and misses? Because I reckon they were swing hits. I reckon they were home runs. I reckon that list that I definitely didn't come up with 20 minutes before landing on my flight, or 20 minutes after taking off, and then I took a nap because I was sick and I wanted to die. I reckon that list right there is it's going to be enshrined as the new Bible, the 2020 version of that, because I think it's just that perfect, and I'm sure you all agree with me on that one. But anyway, yeah, so I want to let you know about the Let's Play. So this is episode 417, next week is 418, but also next week, like next Wednesday, it's really soon now, I am going to Australia. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I think I did, in fact. So I'm going to Australia. It's going to be a whole thing. But because I need to prepare some content for that, and I've been sick and have gone through all my reserves that I already kind of planned as like a kind of helping that out. So basically, I'm a little bit, I was sick, and therefore my output ability is way reduced. What I'm thinking of doing instead is like, what if we do Let's Play Week again? It's something I did like 3 years ago. What if we do Let's Play Week, but instead of like every day in the week, we do it like 3 times a week, like videos that focus around the Let's Play world. And there's 2 reasons that's gonna be cool. One is that means we'll hit episode 420 much sooner, which don't we all want that just a little bit? And 2, it means that I'll be able to have a video every single day while I'm gone. And you know, if you think you'll miss Papa Toy Cat otherwise, which is definitely my name that people definitely always call me, and that please don't actually ever do that. But yeah, if you're worried like, oh no, what about a day without videos? Then maybe that's a good solution. Let me know what you think using your comment words down below, or don't let me know what you think and live the rest of your life not ever, giving feedback to a person on the internet asking for it. It's all up to you, right? Should I take this lava, by the way? I should take that lava. That feels like a weird thing to leave there. But yeah, so let me know if you like that idea, because I think it's probably the best way for me to guarantee that every day there's an upload. Have like 3 days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, I don't know, Saturday, be filled by Let's Plays. And then, yeah, that's a thing I was considering doing, and I'd like to hear your opinions on it. Or, maybe I don't want to hear your opinions. Maybe YouTubers just say that when really what they mean is like, go away from my face. I want to milk you for the cash that you are, because that's what this definitely is. But no, more seriously, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. It was a fun little time for me as well. I am finally like feeling mostly better. My voice sounds a bit rough, but that's something that'll be fixed for next week. I'm gonna go skiing right now. It's gonna be fun. It's just about to hit the winter season, which means I can't go skiing anymore because it's not as cheap during the winter. Don't ask why that's the case, but it's just facts. So yeah, it's about to be winter season, meaning I won't be able to ski anymore. I'm gonna go for like my last session in a while until I go to an actual mountain somewhere in America. But yeah, thank you very much for watching today's video. If you liked it, then let me know in the comments down below that you want to see more. And if you didn't like it, then leave a comment down below saying I have bad opinions, and I think that should be reflected as such. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye.